Hey everybody, I'm Jason from Fuzzlord Effects, and today we're going to be talking about the Telecaster guitar and how it fits into the doom metal genre, because I've been getting a lot of questions about that lately. So if that sounds interesting to you, be sure you stick around and watch this video. So if you're new to the Fuzzlord Effects channel, I really appreciate you taking the time to check out the videos. We do weekly videos about gear demos and tech talks made specifically for folks interested in doom metal and stoner rock music. So if you like what you see, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. And if you like these videos, be sure you share them with a friend that might get something out of them. You can also keep up with me on a daily on Instagram at Fuzzlord Effects. And if you're ever curious to know what is available in stock or to check out some of the cool t-shirts and other things that we do here, head on over to fuzzlordeffects.com. So I wanted to start off this video by telling you a little story about one of the first times I noticed a Telecaster in a doom metal band. I was hanging out with my buddy Troy and we were checking out some YouTube videos watching this band called Bong Ripper that if you haven't heard of, you should check out, play live, and one of the guitarists was using a Telecaster that had two humbuckers in it. I was talking to him and I was like, hey man, it's kind of surprising to see a Telecaster in a doom metal band. And he told me, he's like, actually man, it makes a whole lot of sense because the Telecaster guitar has a 25.5-inch scale length. Compared to like the Gibson scale length of 24 3/4, if we have the guitar in the same tuning with the same strings, it'll give us a little better string tension on the guitar. This is important, and I really noticed this about the band Bong Ripper because I believe they tune to F standard. Although we may not be used to seeing Telecasters, for example, in the doom metal genre, one thing that they really have to offer all of us is that they have a very good scale length if we like using these low tunings and we want a little bit more string tension than maybe we're used to on a Les Paul guitar, for example. Again, the Fender Telecaster has a 25.5-inch scale, and then I have the one behind me set up to play an A sharp standard, and I'm running a set of 13 to 60 strings on it. And between the heavier string gauges and then the little bit longer scale length than like my Gibson guitars, for example, it just works very well. And I think it has a very nice feel and a tension on the strings. So this is my Telecaster that we're gonna be using in today's video. And be sure you stick around to the end because we're gonna check out some sound clips and play some riffs on this. My guitar has an electrical guitar company aluminum neck on it, and I just wanted to point that out. Most Telecasters, of course, come stock with a wooden neck on them, and they are a great guitar. I just had this electrical guitar company neck here, and I wanted to use it on this guitar for the video because I really like the way these feel. So let's talk a little bit now about the pickups that come standard in Telecasters and why they might work really good for your sound. So let me know in the comments below where you're watching from. Let me know your favorite musician that has played a Telecaster, whether they're in a metal band or not. Just want to let you know that my favorite musician that used a Telecaster a lot during their career was McKinley Morganfield. Think about that name and let me know in the comments below the stage name of that person that we all likely know. Telecasters usually come with a single coil pickup in the neck and a single coil pickup in the bridge. The cool thing about single coil pickups, especially when we're using a lot of fuzz pedals, is that sometimes when we use humbuckers with high gain fuzz pedals like fuzz faces and big muffs and things like that, we can kind of get an overly bass heavy sound, which often at home when we're playing by ourselves sounds wonderful. But then when we get in the room with some drums and a bass player and another guitar, it can really muddy up the mix. So a lot of times having single coil pickups, even though it seems counterintuitive, is actually something that helps the overall sound in a mix and really helps your guitar cut through and adds a lot of clarity, especially when we're using very extreme down tunings like this one, again, A sharp standard. Some Telecasters, of course, come with humbucker pickups in the neck and the bridge, and those also sound really great. Like I said earlier, one of the guitarists from Bong Ripper used a Telecaster guitar that had two humbuckers installed in it, and it had a great sound. But I just wanted to point out that sometimes people think we can't use single coil pickups in doom music or with fuzz pedals, and it turns out that they really work well. Also, the nice thing about single coil pickups and like vintage fuzz faces and things like that is that they're very responsive when we use the volume control to reduce the fuzz on a fuzz face pedal, for example. It's one of those things that it does work in a similar way with a guitar with humbuckers on it, but single coils just react very well to some fuzz pedals. I also wanted to point out on this guitar that I have the 4-way pickup selector on it. Usually Telecasters come with a standard 3-way switch where down is the bridge pickup, middle position is both pickups, and then the top position is just the neck. A cool mod that you can get done to your Telecasters is you can get this 4-way switch and then wire it in a way to when you hit it into the 4th mode, it takes these 2 pickups and it wires them in series, which basically mimics what a humbucker is like. A humbucker pickup is 2 single coils put together, wired in series. So this mode, it's almost like it's a humbucker because they're wired in series, but the 2 coils are split farther apart. The added benefit to this is in that 4th position mode, these pickups become hum canceling. So one last thing I wanted to add about Telecaster guitars that just really makes me love the guitar overall. The bridge features saddles that you can adjust the intonation, so we can move the saddles forward and back to intonate the guitar perfectly. But something very unique about them that is not featured on Gibson guitars, for example, is that we can height adjust each of the strings. It's very nice because sometimes we have issues on Gibson style guitars where the radius of the fretboard doesn't match the radius of the bridge. That's something that I have gotten fixed on a few of my guitars and take it down to my favorite local guitar shop called Stallman Guitars that's been working on a lot of my guitars lately. If you want to know more about setting up your guitar, we did a video on the channel a little while ago featuring a setup specifically aimed for folks into doom metal music and low tunings. So you can click on a link here at the top of the video, and that will take you to the previous video where we go through a very basic setup procedure and talk about some of the issues you might face while playing in low tunings, and I think you would really enjoy it. So now we're gonna get set up to play this Telecaster. We're gonna play through some different pedals, and I just want to show you all how good Telecasters can sound in this genre of music. I also want to let you know that we're doing a podcast now. I'm hosting a podcast show called the Fuzz Life Podcast, and I put out about 2 episodes every week. Doing some tech talk kind of stuff, been talking about some ways that you might be able to promote your band, and I've even been interviewing some people like Eric Merrow a couple weeks ago talking about some tips for recording your own audio for your band or your demo channel. Recently interviewed Steve Reese from Does It Doom and got to talk to him about his background in music and kind of just his thoughts on the genre, and he shared a bunch of really cool, helpful tips. Also proving that we are not the same person. So we're gonna get set up to check out this Telecaster guitar, and I very much appreciate you watching. Be sure you leave me a comment below. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know one of your favorite musicians that play the Telecaster guitar, and also Let me know if you know the stage name of McKinley Morganfield, one of my favorite Telecaster players of all time. Again, I'm Jason from Fuzzlord Effects. You can keep up with me on Instagram at FuzzlordEffects, or head on over to the fuzzlordeffects.com website to check out some t-shirts, hats, and everything in between and see what pedals we have available. I appreciate your time. Let's check out some music.